Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt Wyatt, and today I'm going to review this new horror film called Obsession that is directed by Curry Barker, who's coming off of the heels as a YouTube content creator. He has directed a lot of short films in the past, from what I've heard, but this is his directorial debut that has gone to theatrical release. And according to the critics and audiences, it's got a lot of great word of mouth and saying that it is one of the best horror films in the last decade. Even my older brother recommended this movie to me, telling me that I should see it ASAP. Now, going into this movie, you're following this character named Bear, who is a hopeless romantic man who's got no game. He has a humongous crush on this girl named Nikki, who he's totally in love with, but cannot get with her. He one day comes across with this one magical object that grants one wish named Wish Willow. He breaks it and grants a wish without even realizing that this thing even works. And once his wish has been granted, he soon discovers that that his desires comes at a cost, very dark and sinister. Now, before going to this movie, it was not on my radar, but I knew that this movie was going to come out, and I've seen some of the promos, but I didn't really watch the full trailer. I didn't watch it in context. I didn't really know what this movie was really about. I've seen a lot of these memes that were going on my TikTok and Instagram feeds, but after hearing the positive word of mouth from critics, I decided to go and check it out myself and see what all the fuss is about. Now, after coming out of the theater, I will say that I'm very impressed. This is definitely one of the better horror films of the year. I'm not going to go out on a limb saying that this is one of my favorite movies of the year, or it's going to be one of the horror films that's going to change my life. No, but it's very well directed by Curry Barker. He did a great job of directing the film, making it so intense and terrifying and very disturbing. The one that truly carried out this whole movie and the one that became the spotlight of the film was an actress that is played by Inde Navarrette, who's playing the character Nikki, who is the love interest in the film. She truly carried that film on her own. This is her best performance of her lifetime. She was coming off of some of the couple of shows like 13 Reasons Why, which I didn't watch the later seasons after season 2. I've heard she only appeared during season 3, and I only remember her from a show called Superman and Lois, which was from the CW, and she played the love interest of Superman's son named Jordan. She was a series regular at the time, and I thought she was great in the show, but I didn't think her character was all that great, but I thought she was great in it. And for her coming to a big feature film, I was surprised. And I've seen her performance. She's absolutely brilliant. She brought a lot of gravitas, but she brought a lot of sinister and very disturbing. Because once the character Bear, who is played by Michael Johnston, when he grants that wish, it comes true. But when at first everything seems to be fine, everything he got, everything he ever wanted, but later discovers that it does not go as well as he wanted to. She becomes so obsessed with him to the point that she was willing to kill for someone for him, that he's the only one that she ever loved. This movie's basically the Twilight Zone, The Exorcist, and Fatal Attraction that is rolled into one. You could totally tell that Curry Barker has taken a lot of influences from these classic horror films and brought it into his own thing. Now, this concept of this whole wish concept has been done like this before. It plays out the trope of be careful what you wish for because it comes at a cost. And this movie reminded me of another concept that has that whole wish concept was from the show called Supernatural from season 4 called Wishful Thinking. And this guy grants one wish to have that woman that fall in love with him, but then it all hell breaks loose. I feel like that Curry Barker took notes from that show and watched Supernatural. I don't know that for a fact. It could just be a coincidence, but but that definitely reminded me of that show. And I think that this is well directed and well written. And I will say that there's a lot of creepy moments in this movie that Inde Navarrette gives a hell of a performance. One day she acts all normal, but then she flips the switch and becomes very dark and sinister and very creepy, especially when she's in a dark room with this character Bear, and then she creeps around the corner and she just walks back and forth, and you're laying in bed and be like, you're with this guy and you're like, you don't even know what the hell to think of it. Even this one scene, without giving away too much of the context, she's at a party with him with a bunch of his friends, and she acts all cool and all, and then she starts to freak everybody out, and you're basically with them and you're basically speechless. You're like, what the fuck is happening? She basically hurts herself too. Now, this might go into a little bit of a minor spoiler. If you don't want to know anything what I'm about to reveal, then best be sure to just get off this video right now, add this video to your favorites list, and come back after you're done watching the film. But this is going to be a little bit of a minor spoiler in this video. Throughout the whole movie, at first, when Bear makes that wish, he didn't wanna believe that this is actually real, that she's actually in love with him, even though that she's completely flipped the switch and changes her personality overnight. But through the midpoint of the movie, we later discover that she is actually trapped and that she has no control over herself and that it's not all Nikki and all the stuff that she has desire for him are not real. They're all fake and feels like she's possessed by a demonic spirit, basically. And throughout the whole movie, she's begging him to kill her and put her out of her misery because she has no control of herself while she's laying in bed telling him what's really going on. And throughout the whole movie, it kind of flips the switch from him being a victim to being a villain because he went along with it and he knew what he was doing and basically taking advantage of her. And you basically don't feel sorry for him at this point. And that kind of explains why she kept hurting herself over and over again because she's trying to break free and put herself out of her misery. And I will say, Inde Navarrette is amazing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets an award recognition. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But I think she's got a lot of stuff ahead of her in her career, and she's going to get a lot of great offers, especially coming from this movie. She gave the performance of her lifetime, especially coming off of a television show. And the actor who's playing Bear, Michael Johnston, I remember him. He was from the show called Teen Wolf that shows up in the later seasons, and I thought he did a great job. And I thought he looked familiar, and I had to look him up on IMDb, and I feel like, yep, that's the guy. And I thought his performance was outstanding as well. You do feel sorry for him in the beginning because he's caught in a crazy web with this girl that he's in love with that is totally obsessed with him and does a lot of crazy shit and makes questionable decisions and doesn't know what to think of it. But then towards the second half of the film, you kind of don't feel sorry for him because he knew what he was doing and he just simply prolonged this whole bullshit and to the point where he becomes very unlikable. Now, without giving away too much, by the time you get to the finale, everything goes sideways. All hell breaks loose. And I'm not going to give away the ending. I'm not. But I will say that I was very mixed on the ending and how it turns out, the decision that the character makes. That I don't know if I agree with this decision. I feel like it kind of makes matters worse. And I will say that the moment that the credits starts to roll, I love how Curry Barker does the editing technique and pans down and the credits roll and you still hear the voice in the background as the credits roll. But I will say that this is definitely one of the better horror films that I encourage you to check out in theaters if you want to see some good original horror film, even though it's not an original idea because we've seen this been done before. But I thought Curry Barker did a good job of executing it. Even though I had some issues with it throughout the whole film, there was moments in the film that felt very muddled at times, and some of the stuff from the wishful object that doesn't really get quite explained enough of this whole mythology behind it. I wish they would have explained it a little bit more. Now, look, I'm not trying to say that they need to over-explain everything and have everything spelled out, but from what I've seen from the box office results, it became very profitable. And there's a chance that they might do another one when they tell another standalone story and they might expand upon the mythology of it. I don't know if it will happen. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But I think Curry Barker's got a lot of future ahead of him, especially coming off of a guy who has done YouTube videos and he's done a lot of short films in the past. He has a lot of potential. And Curry Barker has got two upcoming horror movies coming up. He's got another movie called Anything But Ghosts, and I was surprised that he's actually the guy who's going to be directing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot. I think he's definitely going to be the right fit to direct Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And coming off of Obsession, I think that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is going to have a lot of great positive word of mouth. Well, for all we know, it might suck, but I'm going to believe that it won't. And I think that this movie will make a lot of money, especially when he's going to be credited as the guy who brought Obsession. Because right now, this movie made $75.5 million, dollars, and this movie was less than $1 million in the budget. So yeah, it became very profitable. Kudos to him. He did a great job of the movie. And even though this is not going to be one of my favorite movies of the year, and it's not a movie that I would have a desire to watch again because I get it. I kind of get what they were going with. And yeah, I will still say that you should go out and see it. And kudos to him from a guy who is a YouTube content creator to direct a great horror film. he's not the first guy to do something like this because the Philippou brothers directed 2 horror films that was Bring Her Back and Talk to Me, 2 of the banger movies that were very successful, who were coming off of their own YouTube channel. And then we got another upcoming movie called Backrooms, which that movie was based on a short film that is directed by the YouTube content creator, which I don't know the name on the top of my head. That's gonna be coming up very soon. It's just a great time around when YouTube content creators are now pursuing becoming filmmakers and try to make their way into the business, and they're making their dream projects come true, and they're about to make a name for themselves. Well, even Chris Stuckman, I'm a fan of his YouTube channel. He even put out his recent horror film that came out last year called Shelby Oaks, which that movie was successful financially. But even though critically it was very mixed, and I was one of the people who thought it was fine, I don't think it was great, but I do think that Chris Stuckman has the potential to do more in this next project, and I would love to see him do more. And for Curry Barker, I'm very excited for his new horror film that's going to be coming out, especially Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After watching this movie, his direction, I can definitely see him directing a slasher movie like this, especially from a very well-known IP. I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. That is my official rating. Now, have you seen this film? What did you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you like it or did you not like it and it was not for you? And if you like this review, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you know when my videos are up. And if you're new to the channel, in case some of you don't know, I have another YouTube channel called Small Zero. It's a collaborative YouTube channel where I co-host alongside with Ryan Cam and 3D Jake. We cover everything in the world that goes around movies and TV shows. We cover trailers and so on and so forth. We've been recently having a lot of guests on our show, and we're going to continue to do more. And I can't wait for more. And if you have not subscribed to that channel, be sure to do that. I will click the link in the description down below so you can go and find it and support our channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to follow my social media platforms like TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram, click the link tree in the description down below as well. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.